Look, I know you've seen the pictures, the big houses, the low taxes and the shiny suburbs, and the Chick-fil-A on every single corner. Look, Dallas really looks like a dream, right? But here's what the truth is. Most people move here with no clue of what they're really signing themselves up for. Look, at first glance, it looks like the perfect setup, right? You're gonna get no state income tax, brand new homes everywhere, brand new jobs everywhere, a booming job market, and just enough Southern charm to make you feel like you belong, right? And then the next thing you know, you're overwhelmed, over budget, and in the wrong part of town that doesn't necessarily match your lifestyle at all. And listen, that's why I made this video. Not to sell you on Dallas. This city doesn't really need the hype, man, but to give you the real playbook before you pack a single box, right? Where to live, what life really looks like in Dallas, the truth, the traps, and all of the opportunities. You're not getting the Instagram version of Dallas here, guys. You're gonna get the real deal, and this is the guy I wish every relocation buyer had before making the move. All right, so what's it really like living in Dallas? So let's talk about the feel of Dallas itself, because Google Maps will show you where things are, but it won't tell you what it's actually like to live here. Dallas is fast. It's gonna be big, it's gonna be bold. This city is always moving, always building, and always leveling up. So whether you're walking through the urban jungle of Uptown or driving past brand new construction in Salina, you can feel the momentum in the air up here, guys. It's like the opportunity is just baked into the concrete. And here's the thing, right? You're not just moving to a new house. You're stepping into a whole new rhythm of life. Look, the mornings here start with the early Texas sun punching you through the window, right? You're gonna grab a coffee from your neighborhood spot because yes, we do have more than just Starbucks. And you're either dodging traffic on 75 or logging into Zoom from your oversized kitchen island. Look, your neighbor might be a tech exec, a nurse, or a stay-at-home parent with a side hustle and 3 kids in sports. It's a grind and shine kind of city. And when we're talking about the evenings, right, that's when Dallas really flips a switch. You've got the rooftop lounges in Deep Ellum, you're gonna have dinner reservations in Legacy West, high school football under the Friday night lights, or live music in Bishop Arts. So whether you're into luxury vibes or low-key barbecue joints with a dirt parking lot and a 2-hour line, it's all gonna be right here. And yes, they both hit. And don't get it twisted, this city isn't just for like a type of person. You got the hustle of LA, the friendliness of the South, and just enough Texas edge to keep things spicy. The lifestyle here is really what you make of it. If you want space and quiet, we've got suburbs with walking trails, splash pads, and a Target within 5 minutes. You want the energy and the nightlife, then there's a whole pocket of Dallas that never sleeps. But here's the realest part, right? Dallas rewards people who show up with a plan. If you just come down here to wing it, this city will chew you up, spit you into a lease in a neighborhood that doesn't match your energy. And that's why working with the right people on the ground really, really matters, guys. My team will help you guys get past the highlight reel so you can build a life that actually fits you. And if you're seriously thinking about relocating to Dallas and want somebody to break things down for your situation, feel free to reach out, guys. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. Listen, we've helped dozens of families make the move right away, and we can help you guys too, so feel free to reach out to us. So yeah, that's what the day-to-day life feels like here. But what about the weekends? You know, the food, the fun, the random stuff you stumble into that makes you say, okay, yeah, I could definitely see myself living here. So let's switch gears and talk about how Dallas shows out on your off days. So this is where things really start to get fun, because once you get settled in, you get your Wi-Fi set up and figure out which HEB or Costco is going to be the closest, you're going to ask yourself, right, okay, so what do we have to do around here? Let me tell you something, Dallas does not play when it comes to lifestyle. This city really knows how to have a good time, whether you're into 5-star steaks or backyard crawfish boils. There's gonna be a little something for everybody, and you don't have to drive an hour just to find it. So let's start with the food scene, because yes, this deserves its own category. So you can get Pecan Lodge or Hutchins, taco spots that stay packed till 2 a.m., and brunch spots that turn into full-on vibes with DJs and mimosas by 11:30 on a Sunday. And don't sleep on the international food as well. Whether you want Ethiopian, Vietnamese, Jamaican, or Korean barbecue, we've got entire districts for that. Dallas is going to be a foodie's playground, plain and simple. And the best part of it all is every suburb has its own little flavor about it, right? Frisco has Legacy West and the Star. You're going to get luxury shopping and rooftop drinks. You head over to Plano, that's got a sneaky good Asian food scene that rivals Houston. You know, downtown has Deep Ellum for the live music, the street art, and Bishop Arts really brings that indie coffee shop, artsy Sunday afternoon stroll type of vibe. Even some of our smaller towns like Rockwall has, you know, lakefront dining and summer concerts, right? So if food isn't necessarily your love language, maybe it's going to be the fun, right? We're talking about Cowboys games at AT&T Stadium. Yeah, AT&T Stadium is basically a spaceship. You're gonna get the Mavs and Stars game from the AAC Center. You get the live concerts for every genre that you can imagine, right? If you like golf, pickleball, axe throwing, indoor skydiving, you name it, Dallas has a version of it. And if you got kids or family coming into town, you're definitely gonna be set. And look, here's the real kicker. It's not just about the things to do. This city feels really, really big, but once you're in, it moves like a tight-knit community. And that's where the magic really is. But we're gonna put a pause on that and shift gears a little bit, because after the rooftop tacos and the baseball games, you're still gonna need a place to call home. So next, let's break down where people are actually living, and more importantly, how to figure out which part of Dallas makes the most sense for you. So look, you've seen the skyline, you've tasted the tacos, and you're feeling the Dallas vibe. But now comes the big question. Where do you actually want to live? Because here's what most people get wrong. They pick an area based on what looks cute online, what their cousin's friend recommended, or what they saw on TikTok without really thinking about what their day-to-day life is going to look like. And that's how folks end up in a luxury high-rise with a 45-minute commute, no backyard for their dog, and a $300 a month parking fee. So let me break this down the right way, and that's going to be by the lifestyle. Look, if you've got kids or you want that family suburban life, look into places like Forney, Midlothian, McKinney, or Prosper. This is going to be master planned heaven, trails, parks, splash pads, and communities where your neighbors actually wave at you when you're walking by. You're going to get the space, you're going to get all the quiet, and in many cases, a brand new home with top tier amenities for less than what a townhome costs in some of these other major metros. Look, Forney is blowing up with the new construction and all the value. McKinney's got the charm and the history. Prosper's all about the luxury suburbs with serious schools and serious square footage. And if we're talking about my young professional, my digital nomads, or my empty nesters wanting that city buzz, you want to look into Uptown, Knox Henderson, downtown, and Bishop Arts. These areas bring the energy, the walkability, the nightlife. You get the happy hour patios. You're going to get the fitness studios on every single block, and you're 5 minutes from anywhere that really matters. And if you're renting, you'll find the sleek apartments with the rooftop pools. If you're buying, I want you to think about the modern townhomes, the condos, or the smaller single family homes that still keep you in the mix. But just remember this, space is going to be tighter, prices are going to be higher, and parking is optional. Now, if you're looking for more of a best of both worlds type of situation, places like Frisco, Plano, and Rockwall, and then Allen also, they hit all that sweet spot. Listen, Frisco is the golden child right now, right? You get the Star, you get Legacy West, PGA headquarters. It's got that new money, young family type of energy. You know, Plano brings stability and infrastructure. It's like that, reliable older type of sibling that figured life out early. And Rockwall, man, I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on this area. It has the lakeside views and it's a whole vibe, right? And it still feels like that small town where people look you in the eye. Now, if you're into new construction deals, Salina, Aubrey, Princeton, and Royce City are dropping entire communities every single quarter, it seems like. And at the price that a lot of people are paying for 2-bedroom condos in a lot of these other cities. But here's going to be the trade-off, right? More space usually means a longer commute time. So if you're working in downtown Dallas and buying in Salina, I want you to pack snacks for that trip. The truth is there's no one best place to live in Dallas, right? It's really going to come down to your lifestyle, your budget, your commute, and then your goals. And that's exactly what we do to help our clients figure this out every single day. So if you're stuck between, do I want space or convenience, or am I more Frisco or more Forney, right? Just reach out to us, guys. We'll be able to help you. All of our contact info's down in the description below. Because once you find the right spot, everything else starts to really fall into place.
So I'm super excited to announce we just released our Reload Ready bundle. This is a bundle that gives you our knowledge of the Metroplex, the best areas, best food spots, best schools, and overall what to expect. And lastly, we're going to give you access to our preferred property list. This is when builders have inventory that they need to move. They call and give us first dibs. These are going to be those discounted properties you won't find on Realtor or Zillow.com. So if you want exclusive access, click the link below, become a part of our inner circle where we say less and pay less. Now, back to the video you were watching.
Now, speaking of everything else, right, let's talk about how you're actually going to get around the city and why your GPS might be lying to you. So look, there's no sugarcoating it. Dallas is a driving city, period. If you're coming from a place where walking, biking, or hopping on the train gets you everywhere, I want you to brace yourself because Dallas is big, spread out, and the neighborhoods that you'll want to live in, they're not stacked on top of downtown like some of these other cities, right? Everything is just further. And that's where the commute game gets really, really real. Our highways have numbers, but we use names like 75 as Central Expressway, 635 is going to be the Loop of Doom, and the tollway, well, it's quick, but it'll charge you rent just to drive on. And yes, toll roads here are everywhere. Get familiar or get frustrated. And rush hour, yeah, it's alive and well around here, right? I want you to plan on slowdowns in the mornings and the evenings, especially if you're headed towards downtown or anywhere near 121, I-30, or 635. And as for the public transportation piece, yeah, it's there. We have the DART train system and it works in theory, but unless you live and work right along that line, it's not a practical daily option for most people. You're still going to want to call. And this is why the commute time should be a part of your home search from day one. Because a dream house with a nightmare drive, that glow fades really fast. And hey, if you already live in the Dallas area, I want you to drop your commute tips or horror stories down up in the comments, right? I want you to tell the people what highways you avoid at all costs and what shortcuts save you your sanity. So somebody that's watching can get your insight as well. So if that part right there didn't scare you off, the next thing you're going to think of is what can you actually get for your money in Dallas, Texas? So let's talk about housing prices taxes and whether new construction is actually the best move for you. So let's put a spotlight on dollars and square footage, because once people get past where should I live, the next question they always have is going to be, what can I actually get for my money here? And I'm going to keep it real with you. Dallas used to be one of those places where you could show up with $300K and walk into a brand new 4-bedroom home like it was nothing. But now it's really about where you're looking and what you're willing to trade off. I mean, if you're working with a $400 to $500K budget, you're going to be in pretty good shape in areas like Forney, Heartland, or Roy City. That'll get you a brand new construction home, 4 beds, 2.5 baths, and maybe even a media room. Like, seriously, space isn't the issue out here. Once you move closer to, say, Frisco, McKinney, or Plano, and that same money might get you a smaller home, a bit older, but in an area that's more developed with higher rated schools and a shorter commute. Now, if you're looking at $600K and up, you're entering luxury suburb territory. I want you to think Prosper, Solano, or Midlothian. The homes come with soaring ceilings, oversized lots, and neighborhood amenities that make you feel like you're living in a resort, right? But here's the catch. Prices can jump fast with upgrades and lot premiums, so you gotta watch your builder's options very, very closely. And for my city folks that wanna live in Uptown, Bishop Arch, or Lower Greenville, you're looking at condos, townhomes, or older craftsman style houses with character, right? But character comes with maintenance, I'm just saying. So yeah, Dallas gives you those options, but your dollar stretches very differently depending on the location, depending on the amenities, and the lifestyle piece. And just when you think you figured out the monthly payment, there's a whole nother layer that buyers never see coming. So let's talk about some of the hidden costs of owning a home in Texas, right? The ones that they really don't mention in all the listing descriptions. All right, so you found the house you love, the price looks good, it's checked all the boxes. But before you fall in love with that listing photo of a backyard pergola, let's hit pause for a second, because there's a few things that can really sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. So let's start with some of the hidden costs, right? You've probably heard Texas doesn't have a state income tax, right? And that's very, very true. But what they don't tend to mention is our property taxes make up for it and then some. We're talking anywhere from 2 to over 3% annually, depending on where you decide to buy. So that beautiful $450,000 home, that's potentially 10 grand plus a year in taxes alone. If you add insurance, HOA fees, and possibly a mud or a pit tax if you're buying in a master plan community, and suddenly that affordable mortgage payment just got a serious glow up. And look, none of this is meant to scare you off. It's meant to prepare you, because here's where buyers get tripped up most of the time. They start shopping before they get pre-approved. I see it all the time. They call us saying they're coming out tomorrow and they want to look at houses, but that typically is a setup for disaster. And another mistake I see people make is waiting isn't going to make things cheaper. Listen, the key is really going to be going in with your eyes wide open and a plan, right? That's how you win here in Dallas. Listen, I thought it was really important for you guys to hear the business side of things, but let's shift gears again, because Dallas isn't just bricks and taxes. It's about the people as well. All right, so now let's talk about what really makes Dallas feel like home, and that's going to be the people that live here. Because a house isn't just bricks and drywall. What really makes you stay here is the community that you build around yourself. And Dallas is going to have range big time, right? You got Fortune 500 execs, tech startups, first-gen families, creatives, blue-collar workers, remote digital nomads, all living in the same metroplex, often in the same neighborhood. It's a city where everyone's from somewhere, but nobody makes you feel like you're an outsider. Like, you can move here and build a circle as fast as you want to if you put yourself out there, or you can be standoffish and kind of be to yourself. Some of our clients are like that. When we're talking about the culture here, it's like a blend of Southern charm, big city ambition, and a hometown type of pride. Look, people wave when you pass by the driveway, strangers strike up conversations in lines at Buc-ee's, and when it comes to the hospitality, this ain't fake friendly, right? I mean, folks will bring you brisket and the phone number for their favorite handyman by day 2 that you move. You'll also see how active the community scene is, right? You're gonna get the farmers markets, the local festivals, sports league for the adults and the kids, community movie nights, car shows, food trucks Fridays. I mean, you name it, it's out there and it's happening somewhere in the Metroplex. And the one thing that I really love, guys, is Dallas is just so diverse. You'll hear multiple languages in any given grocery store. You're gonna see every kind of cuisine represented in the food scene, and then you're gonna find faith communities, friend groups, and businesses from all walks of life. It's one of the most underrated parts of living in the DFW. But remember, every suburb, every pocket has its own little personality. You know, some places feel newer and polished, others feel historic and rooted. It's all about what fits you. So once you find that neighborhood and those people that kind of match your own energy, that's when Dallas really starts to feel like yours. And speaking about finding your fit, let's talk about the school. All right, so if you've got kids, planning for kids, or even just want the resale value on lock, this one is gonna be a biggie. So what's the deal with the schools here in Dallas? Now look, because I'm a realtor, I can't and won't tell you what the best schools are. It's gonna be against fair housing rules, but what I can do is walk you through what I've seen with my clients who made the move, and really how they navigated this whole school thing, right? Like my clients, Mark and Lacey from California, right? They had 3 kids and education was a non-negotiable, right? They ended up in Frisco ISD because they wanted strong academics, a competitive sports program, and newer schools with community involvement. They did their research on niche.com, watched board meeting recaps, they joined a few Facebook mom moms groups and made their decision with confidence. And to this day, they say it's the best move they ever made. And then there was Janelle and Terrence. They were transplants from the East Coast. You know, they chose Rockwall ISD not just because of the school ratings, because they loved how the neighborhoods felt, the proximity to the lake, and just that tight-knit community feel. They really prioritized stability and didn't want to worry about rapid rezoning every few years. And then I've had a few clients with high-achieving teens who moved into Plano ISD or Prosper ISD, and they just wanted access to those AP courses, the career prep academies, and the extracurriculars like robotics and debate that they didn't offer in their other districts. So what's the takeaway on all this, right? You want to use sites like the Department of Education or niche.com or greatschools.org and do your own homework, right? You want to jump into the local, Facebook groups and they'll spill all the real tea about these areas, and always verify school zoning with the district because boundaries change, especially in a fast growing environment, right? I say all that to say Dallas has options. So whether you want a small town school feel or a massive academic powerhouse, there's a setup that fits your family. And look, I get it. There's no question. If you have kids, schools are a priority, but so is finding work or having the option to grow in your career. So let's really understand Dallas jobs, incomes, and the opportunity engine that keeps Dallas growing. All right, so let's cut to the chase. People aren't just moving to Dallas for the real estate on IG. They're coming here to level up in their lives. Look, this city is straight up buzzing with opportunity, whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, freelancing from your kitchen, or finally launching that side hustle you've been sitting on for years. Dallas is where ambition meets affordability. So let's start with the corporate flex, right? Toyota, State Farm, JP Morgan Chase, AT&T, and American Airlines. Listen, they didn't just set up shop here for the barbecue. They came for the growth, the workforce, and the no state income tax type of vibe. And they brought thousands and thousands of jobs with them. Now look, for my creatives and self-starters, this city's got room for everybody. Listen, I've had clients move here and build businesses from scratch. Look, photographers, boutique owners, fitness coaches, online consultants. And the secret really is Dallas has space physically and financially for whatever you want to do. If you want to grow something from zero to thriving, you don't need $1 million to get started here. And for my remote workers, y'all are living the dream out here as well. Instead of fighting for elbow room in a $1.2 million condo out in LA, you could be out here in a new construction home with an actual office, high-speed internet, and a backyard where your dog can live his best life. And you may be paying less each month than you would be for rent. But here's the kicker, right? Dallas rewards hustle. If you show up with vision and drive, this city opens doors for you. So yeah, you can build something real here, a career, a brand, and a life. And if you've been on the channel for just a little while, you know I'm not going to sugarcoat things, guys. So let's talk about some of the things that could get in your way if you're not ready for it. All right, so first, let's bust some of the myths, right? Because if you've never lived in Texas, you've probably heard a few things that made you go, wait, do tornadoes hit every week, or isn't it like 110 degrees all year long? So let me clear the air. First up, we're going to talk about this weather situation, right? Yes, it gets hot. Summer is really real here in Dallas. So like June to September, it's like walking through a hairdryer with a grudge, right? But the secret's gonna be this. Everything here is built for the heat. Look, your AC is strong, your grocery store is gonna be 68 degrees year round, and nobody's out here cutting the grass at noon unless they're trying to pass out. Now on the flip side, our winters are really, really light. You get a few chilly weeks here and there, maybe an ice day or two, but snow is very rare. And when it does come, the whole city pretty much shut down. So let's talk about tornadoes. Yes, we're in Tornado Alley, but it's not like Twister every Tuesday. You'll hear sirens, especially in the springtime, but that's usually just a heads up to check the weather app, not to run for a bunker, right? Most storms pass with wind, lightning, and some dramatics, but direct hits are very, very rare. I want you to think more like keep an umbrella in the car than call FEMA. You see what I'm saying? Now here's what most people don't expect. Dallas has some of the best sunset you'll ever see. And the skies out here, they're huge, they're open, and dramatic. You'll find yourself taking porch selfies without even meaning to. So yeah, there's gonna be the heat and the weather does its thing, but it's all manageable once you settle in. Just don't forget to hydrate and download a weather app that doesn't play games. And look, if all this real talk hasn't swayed you from thinking Dallas might be your next home, let me give you some real world relocation advice, right? The stuff I wish every buyer knew before they made the move. Now, before you make the move and pop the trunk on a U-Haul, let's slow it down for a second, because relocating to Dallas is exciting, but it's also a chess game. And I've seen too many people jump in without a strategy. So let me hit you with a few things I wish every client knew before they made their move, right? So first off, don't rent in a neighborhood you can't afford to buy in. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea at first. Let's live there for a year, get a feel, and that's cool until you fall in love with the vibe and realize now that those home prices are $150K out of your range. Now you're stuck comparing everything else to an area that's just not realistic, and that's really, really brutal. The second thing is timing matters more than people actually think, right? If you're trying to do something in the summer, it's crazy, right? It's gonna be great for options, but it's gonna be wild for competition. In the winter, it's gonna be fewer listings, but the builders get generous with those incentives, right? They're giving them money. Listen, I've had clients walk into $15,000 of closing costs just because they timed it right. And the next thing is gonna be careful with these virtual tours and than these IG realtors. Listen, I do tons of remote deals and FaceTime showings are great, but they don't tell you everything. Like the train that passes by every hour and that weird smell 2 blocks over. When you're not here in person, context is everything. And budget-wise, Texas taxes don't mess around, right? That mortgage calculator online, it's lying to you. Typically, it does not factor in the property taxes, the HOAs, the utilities, and a little bit more just-in-case money. Because the media room with that surround sound, it's gonna cost you every single month when that AC kicks in July. And lastly, I just want you to get clear on what matters. Look, it's easy to get caught up in all the shiny kitchens and the quartz countertops, but does that layout work for your life? Do you want space to entertain or space to hide from your kids? Look, there's gonna be a big difference. So moving to Dallas isn't just about getting a new address, it's about setting yourself up to live there. This isn't just about moving, it's about moving right. And it's about doing all the right things that the smartest folks are doing in this market. Listen, I know you're not just curious, you're in planning mode, and planning is definitely the smart move. Dallas isn't just a place to move, it's a place to grow, it's a place to build, it's a place to start fresh. But doing it the right way, that takes more than a Google search and house tours. So whether you're figuring out your timeline or you're already stalking listings at midnight, just know you're not in this alone, right? Look, if you've got questions, want to talk strategy, or need boots on the ground guidance from a team that actually knows the metro, just reach out because my team wants to help you on this journey. And if you're still in research mode about the areas around Dallas, then we created a whole playlist you can binge watch right now, and you can check those out right there.